See the moonlights on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Tallawah TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Tallawah TV with the host and best. Stu Davis, take it away.
Guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me once more. So, it's the eve of the Honduras game, last match of the October international window, and Honduras is next up on our list. A away trip awaits, and I have gone and got one of my favorite people, one of the most, if not the most lovable man, the most lovable person on or inside our Jamaican football community. You know his face, but in case you do not know his name, it is Mr. Devon Porter, or for you, it is Coach. Coach, how are you?
I'm pretty good, Crystal. How about you?
I'm good. I can't complain. Like you bring such a positive aura. Like you brighten up my evening. So I am well.
Thanks much. Thanks much. Thanks much.
Awesome.
When
So
it comes on to football, football make everybody smile.
absolutely, absolutely. Before we get started, I want to know how your weekend was. Because I know you recently celebrated the Canadian Thanksgiving, didn't you? So how was that?
Yeah, it was pretty good. We had dinner with the family on Sunday, even though yesterday technically was Thanksgiving, but we did it a bit earlier because we like to relax on the day of Thanksgiving. So we did it on Sunday, and lots of food. Jamaicans. We have lots of food and family over. Last year the pandemic we couldn't have people over, so
Mm-hmm.
this year is a little bit better. And I rested yesterday, went back to work today. So all in all, I have a good weekend.
Lovely stuff. So it's a bit of positivity there, isn't it? When you compare last year with the pandemic, this year you're able to be around your loved ones. So surely it can't get no better than that.
Absolutely,
And we have to
absolutely.
touch on that result from the Canadian game, 0-0 on home soil. I know you came onto you commented underneath the live that I was doing, the live watch along for that game. I was sensing that you wasn't too pleased with a draw.
Wasn't too happy about the draw because we needed points, but all in all, we did not lose that game. Maybe if we lost that game, then I could say, you know what, I think our World Cup is done. But we're still alive, as you can see. I'm still wearing my colors, so there is hope. There is hope, and I think looking back at the Canadian game, I think the strategy that we went into that game with, I don't really like it. I think the coach could have employed a different strategy, and I think all in all we should have won that game.
I don't disagree on you there. Definitely we had a handful of chances. I believe more chances than Canada. When you look back on that game, so at full time, you probably had a bit of a sour taste in our mouths because we might have felt that we should have won that. I definitely sense that the Canadians probably felt that rather than a draw, it's a defeat because they went into that game sitting third in the table. By the end of that full 90, they were pushed from third, they dropped down to fourth. So I think when they look at it from their point of view, they'll be looking at it as a loss, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you look at the chances that they get, I think they get a better clear cut chance to go ahead um, than Jamaica. But when you look at it, you have to try to get enough points in the first stage because down the road, you don't know what might happen, injuries, yellow cards, and so people start missing games. And then when that starts happening, then somebody is going to falter down the road, and people are going to play catch up.
Absolutely. I mean, when you look back at that game and you focus on Canada, we pretty much shut them out. You know, their superstar Davies, he wasn't able to get into his stride. The bulk of their players as a collective, they couldn't find that rhythm. What do you put that down to? Do you put that down to the surface, the pitch that they played on? Or is it a collective effort of the pitch being something that they're not used to playing on and also our boys doing their job?
Yes, I know that the pitch in Jamaica would be a factor to them because what happened is that it is so dry and hard. It's not easy, and they used to those pristine surfaces here in Canada. And I think a little bit of both. I mean, they were missing players as well, just like the Jamaica team. I mean, they were missing like top players, including their captain. So that can play a factor as well.
Definitely. Let's look at our boys, the boys in black, green, and gold. We came into this match depleted once more, depleted in defense. No vice captain present. He wasn't able to play the game due to suspension. All round, a weakened starting 11. No disrespect to the starting 11 that were there, but it's obvious that we had a weakened starting 11. But I think it's safe to say that the boys who took to the pitch, both the starting 11 and the substitutes, rose against anticipation.
Yes, I think they give a good account of themselves. Because we're missing so many players. Damian Lowe is a stalwart in defense, and we're missing him. Now he will be back in for this Honduras game. And I hope that we can take some positivity from that game and let it transpire into the Honduras game tomorrow.
Absolutely. It would be rude of me not to ask what you would have done differently because you are a coach. You would know more than most of us, even though we're both football fans. So, in hindsight, what would you have done differently with that starting 11?
Um, what I would probably do, I would tinker a little bit with the formation. Instead of playing the flat defensive midfielders, I would probably only employ one defensive midfielder and don't go the regular route after 4-2-3-1 and go with a 4-1-3-2, employ two strikers because you have Kemar Roof and you have Andre Gray in the squad. And I think they bring a lot to this Jamaican team. And that's what I would do differently from what the coach employs yesterday.
Okay, interesting there. You've touched on someone there in your analysis in terms of what you would do differently with the formation. You touched on Kimar Roof. What do you make of Roof? Because he seemed to have left a bittersweet taste in many fans' mouths. But for me, I think that he played well against Canada. Like I said in my live watch along, he was all over the place in a good way. Yes, he should have scored. There's no two ways about that. But when he wasn't up top, he was on the flank. On many occasions, we saw him doing defensive duties as well. So a bit of an all-rounded performance from Kimar Roof, despite not finding the back of the net. So what do you make of Roof's performance?
I think he did well, considering that he's playing out of position. He's not playing his regular number nine position. He's playing in an attacking midfield role, and I think his performance was a workmanlike. I mean, he was here, there, everywhere, fighting for balls. And I have to give him credit. I have to give him credit because he's playing for the team. He's not playing for himself. And I think everybody should give him more credit.
Absolutely spot on. I do not disagree with you. Now we know that you are based in Canada, of course, because you touched on the Canadian Thanksgiving. How were your neighbors? I mean, are they the hockey type or they the football type? If they are the football type, were they a little bit upset? Did they feel a little depleted on their Thanksgiving Day thanks to the result?
Yes, I think Canada, it's maybe a bittersweet because they come away with a point, but they probably wanted 3 points to go further in the table. So I think all in all, they might not be happy, but they should be thankful that they get 1 point coming out of Jamaica.
I love that. I love that. And you're absolutely right. They should be thankful that they walked away with 1 point because they could have been walking away with zero. The boys did, like you said, gave a good account of themselves. A bit of a shame that we couldn't find the back of the net, but hopefully we can do that against Honduras, which is tomorrow's game. Tomorrow being Wednesday. If you're in Jamaica, Canada, or the United States. Obviously, if you are in England, if you are in the UK, then that match will be played on a Thursday in the early morning. So do check the time for that so that you do not miss out. Like I said, this game will be our final match for the October international window. So, coach, with that nil-nil against Canada, going up against a Honduras team. Well, when you look at Honduras with their results, they're obviously sitting 1 point above us on the table, 1 point above us in the table. I believe they've got 3 draws, 2 losses, netted against Canada, netted against the United States, and in their last match against Mexico, they lost 3-0 and they picked up a red card as well. So it's not looking good for Honduras, but how are you feeling going up against Honduras?
It's gonna be tough, regardless of their captain, Figueroa got a red card in the Mexico game on Sunday, and I think they're missing one of their wing backs as well due to cards accumulation. But going into Central America, it's not an easy place to play. The fans are, especially in San Pedro Sula, they're boisterous in there. It's gonna be an uphill battle for the Jamaica team, but I think we have enough quality and experience in the team to get something from this game. I I would satisfy with a draw coming out of Honduras rather, but if I get the win, I'll gladly take it. The good thing for the Jamaica team is that we have the vice captain Damian Lowe in back, and he and Adrian Marapa, I think, have a good tandem between both of them. And even though people in Jamaica is probably saying that Honduras is gonna beat us, I am not gonna say that until the final whistle is blown. Because we are going there to fight. And I know the boys, they will be fighting.
I'm not going to be listening to the fans' take on whether or not Honduras will beat us. Most certainly, I'm not taking no scoreline predictions from them because many said that Canada would give us a 6-0 hammering. So they were probably left feeling disappointed that that wasn't the case and they weren't proven to be right. But yes, you've just touched on two main factors for us going into this game, two positive um factors for us going into this game. You mentioned Adrian Mariappa and what a performance Mariappa put on against Canada in that last game, in our last match. And you also mentioned the return of Damian Lowe, who is now coming back into the starting 11, having completed his suspension. How pleased are you to see that centre back pairing once more?
Oh, I'm happy to see both of them back playing. But one of the things that we should take away from this Jamaica team is that when you have a good defensive midfielder in the likes of Anthony Grant, he's a Chelsea product. He's the understudy to Claude Makalele, Michael Essien, as a young lad at Chelsea. I think he brings a lot um, to the Jamaica team. He organized the midfield. He always looking and talking to his defenders to see, am I in the right location? Are you okay? And so forth. And I think that's gonna be the telling point tomorrow. How we perform in this game. Let's hope he's injury free, because I saw him went down a little bit in the Canada Jamaica game. So let's hope he's injury free and he's rearing to go.
He strikes me as a soldier. I think we have a couple of those soldiers in our team. We saw Alvis Powell go down in the Gold Cup on one or two occasions, and we saw him trying to soldier on. Stretcher comes out again in the Canada game. Saw him try to soldier on, but his body wouldn't allow him to. I think just like that type of soldier mentality, you even see in players like Damian Lowe. You're now seeing it in players like Anthony Grant. So if he is feeling some slight of pain, or if he has a little niggle, I feel like because of who he is as a person, his character tells me that he will force his way into that starting 11. If that is the case, hopefully he's able to ride through the game, whether that be him coming off at the 60th minute or the 70th minute or the 80th minute, just to protect him, because obviously we don't want him to return to his club with an injury. Hopefully he's able to do a good job for us, and I trust that he will. I'm glad that you touched on the midfield position, because one player again who doesn't get the credit that he deserves, in my opinion, is Mr. Speedy. And I'm gauging that the reason why a lot of people aren't a fan of Speedy is simply because he isn't a flashy player.
Yes, you're absolutely right on that. But before I get to Speedy, I'm gonna go back to Alvis Powell. I think he's nursing a hamstring injury, and I kind of heard that he's not traveling with the team. So
Okay.
I don't think he's in Honduras. So he won't be a factor in this game. Speedy, in terms of Speedy, I think he deserves more credit because he he works hard in the middle of the park. And from what I'm hearing is that Anthony Grant is comfortable playing with him. He likes to play with Speedy. So hopefully the coach will look into that and says they form a good pairing, and put Speedy into to start with Grant.
Now let's look back at Alvis Powell and that right back position. Are you expecting to see Javane Brown, or are we expecting Tapper to stick with Fisher?
I um I would love to see Javian Brown. I think he is our best right back right now. If you look at the form that he has coming in from his club, this kid is playing lights out. And I mean, I would give him a chance. I would look at him and I said, listen, young man, this is your chance. You gotta grab it with both hands. Because he is a phenomenal player, and he can go up and down the park for 90 minutes. His defense is very good. Going forward, attacking, he can help. So I would give him a chance. Yes, I honestly think the ref was a little bit lenient, and one of those tackles from Haka, but such is the game. The ref probably didn't want to spoil the game, so he allowed him to stay on the field, the pitch.
I had my own theory on that, and I'm glad you touched on the referee, because I said the same. The referee is a Costa Rican referee, and we know that there's a large diaspora, a large Jamaican diaspora in Costa Rica. So I was saying to myself, maybe he has one or two Jamaican friends and he don't want to upset them, or maybe he's rubbed shoulders with Jamaicans and they've treated him well. So he probably thought, you know what? let me treat them good, because that's the vibe I was getting from him. But you're absolutely right. He did let us off on one or two occasions where we could have seen a red
A
card.
red
So,
card, yes.
big up the referee, because it's not many, we don't find ourselves like thanking or being appreciative of match officials and replaying our games, because they usually seem to be playing against us. So, massive shout out to the referee for giving us a fair and balanced game.
Yes, I think the referee, he was good. Because you look at the game, you have referees who a little bit biased, or sometimes they think it's their game and it's about them. It's not about them, it's about the players. So let the players play.
Absolutely, absolutely. Coach, what are we doing about the wing position?
Well, we need to get into the win column. We definitely need to get 3 points at some point. I mean, I think this is the right game for us. But when you look at it, in the terms of a wounded dog can be very, very dangerous. And both teams, Honduras and Jamaica, are wounded right now. And it's who wants it most. And if Honduras comes out to play hard, it might spell trouble for Jamaica. Next thing again is that 12 man. They have that 12 man behind them. And that crowd in San Pedro Sula is very boisterous and they're loud. So all Jamaica needs to do is go there, shut them out, and just play their game. Don't listen to the chanting and things that they might say coming from the crowd, and hope for the best.
They are professionals, but I have to back you on that. Hope for the best, and I hope that they are not phased by the 12th man, because this is nothing new to them. Yes, you cannot compare club football to international football, but this is not the first time that these set of guys, the starting 11 players on the bench, it's not the first time that they've been in this type of situation. So they should be able to hold their own. Who are you putting up top, coach? Who's your man who's going to go up top?
I think the coach probably gonna go with Boza as the number 9, the point man. But if I'm playing that formation, the 4-1-3-2, I just play Kemaru off his shoulder, and I think with both of them, and give them defensive duties as well. So when we lose possession of the ball, whosoever is closest to the goal stays there. Whosoever is farthest to the goal drops into the midfield and form a good midfield core. And you can defend as 4-1-4-1 or a 4-5-1, going back. And when you attack, you just push people up into attack.
Interesting there. Be interesting to see who he goes up, who coach puts up top. I think you're right. I think it's going to be Boza. Boza has found the net twice so far in our World Cup qualifying campaign. So I trust that Coach Tapa will go with what he is used to and put his trust in Boza. That's not to say he doesn't trust his other front man, but it seems as if he believes he can get the best or utilize Boza to the best of his ability. Prediction wise, are you a prediction man? Can you predict what might happen tomorrow, or can you give
Uh,
me what you would like to see happen?
I would I think I can see a 1-0 Jamaica coming out of there. You know, worst come to worst, we get a 0-0 tie coming out of there. But I think it's gonna be a tight game. It's gonna be a cat and mouse game, and the coach need to look at the game and look at his players and see which players suited best to give him a win. Tyreek McGee, I would change him a little bit and put him on the left wing. to let him
Interesting.
and use that space, and he can cut inside and shoot, because he's talented. He's talented. And I think, and the reason why I would put him there is that if he does not do a lot of defensive duties, it's not going to hurt the team that bad. When he's in the middle of the park, that will hurt the team. So I will probably put him on the wing and have Speedy just inside of him and Grant sitting as the six.
That's an interesting take. I cannot believe I did not touch on the magic man himself, Mr. Tariq McGee. I would love to see him get some minutes at some point tomorrow. If not part of the starting 11, then definitely I fancy him being our super sub because he definitely have it in his locker to turn the game on its head if given a fair opportunity to do so. So I would love to see the magician get some minutes under his belt tomorrow, and I'm sure he will be able to give a good account of himself because he did do that the last time he played for us, didn't he?
Yes, yes. I think if you put the right people around him and give him confidence, he can hurt people. I just think he's a fantastic player. Yes, he has flaws in his game. He has weaknesses in terms of his defensive prowess. He does not defend well, but with the ball at his feet, I'm telling you, this kid is amazing.
Absolutely. I agree with you with every word that you said. He is truly an amazing talent. And in terms of his defensive ability, I believe that will only get better with age. That's definitely to make himself, because he has the potential to be a complete player. So to unlock that question mark in his abilities, he definitely needs to work on his defensive game. And I'm sure he will do that because he is quite young. And like fine wine, he will only get better with age. Guys, you heard it from coach himself. Like I said, he is one of the most, if not one of the most lovable man, the most lovable person inside this Jamaican football community of ours. There's so many great guys around, but I'm telling you, coach Mr. Devon Porter, he's in a league of his own. He's literally in the World Cup. He's at the World Cup already. And the rest of us, we're just in like the Premier League, La Liga, and all those other leagues. But Coach Devon Porter, he is the man, people. And like I said, when I get him on my channel or when I go over to Coach's desk and he's there, he truly brightens up my day. Real lovely guy. So Coach, thank you so much for blessing me with your time. You know how much I love speaking football with you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for blessing me with your time.
And thank you, Crystal, for having me. It's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be on Tallawah TV.
Thank you, coach. Thank you. I'm going to have to let you run now because I know you recently came home from work. And I told you guys he's so lovely. He came home from work straight away, set up his laptop, and jumped onto my channel. If that's not a good person, I don't know what a good person is. You know what they say, guys? One hand can't clap. So whenever someone reaches out to you for help, if you can help them, please do help them, especially if it's one of our own, especially if they bleed black, green, and gold. Let's try to support each other, guys, on our journey to the World Cup. Let's also hope that tomorrow we pick up our first win. 3 crucial points is on the cards, guys. Can we get it? I hope that we can. Thank you so much for taking your precious time out to watch me and the lovely coach Devon Porter to preview the Honduras game. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button. Until next time.